If you're a diehard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. The Cleveland Browns opened their 2025 season in a way that will feel all too familiar to their fans, with a close, agonizing loss that could have been avoided with just a few crucial plays and special teams. Week 1 saw the Browns visit the Cincinnati Bengals, a team that, over the years, has occasionally stumbled out of the gates in the early weeks of the NFL season, only to rebound later. This time, however, the Bengals managed to avoid the typical early season jitters, holding on to a 17-16 victory that left Browns fans shaking their heads in disbelief. Despite a second-half defensive performance that showed flashes of dominance, and an offense led capably by Joe Flacco, the game came down to just a few points. Points that Cleveland left on the field due to the struggles of their young kicker, Andre Smythe. In a game decided by a single point, Smythe's missed field goal, an extra point loomed large, and yet the organization has decided to stick with him, much to the dismay of a fan base desperate for accountability and immediate results. The reaction among Browns fans was swift and merciless. Social media erupted with frustration, debates raged on fan forums, and highlight reels of Smythe's misses circulated endlessly, amplified by the pain of a loss that felt entirely preventable. Kicking has historically been a thorn in the side of this franchise, with numerous attempts over the years to find stability at a position that often decides close games. Cade York, drafted in the 4th round and once heralded as a potential solution, didn't even make it to his second season with the team before being released. Dustin Hopkins had a solid 2023, yet even his brief success was not enough to secure long-term confidence. Smythe, despite his collegiate accolades including the prestigious Lou Groza Award in 2018 as the nation's best kicker, now finds himself in a position where every miss is scrutinized and every opportunity missed could cost him his job. While Smythe has the pedigree and raw talent, translating college success into NFL consistency is a notoriously difficult leap, and one that he has yet to fully achieve. Head coach Kevin Stefanski, however, has made it clear that the team is not ready to give up on Smythe just yet. In the aftermath of the loss, Stefanski defended his young kicker, framing the situation as part of a natural development process for a player still growing into the professional ranks. "Young player will only get better," Stefanski said. "Obviously, he wants to come through in those moments. We expect him to come through in those moments. But just like any player on our roster, he will continue to get better." Stefanski's comments were carefully measured, balancing the need to support a young player while trying to maintain credibility with a fan base that has endured too many narrow losses. The statement reflects the broader tension within the organization, balancing long-term player development against the immediate pressures of winning games, especially in a division as competitive as the AFC North. It's hard to overstate how pivotal kicking has been in the Browns' recent struggles. Close losses, particularly in divisional matchups, have become an almost defining feature of the team's narrative. Week 1 of the 2025 season provided a textbook example. Against the Bengals, the Browns' defense held Joe Burrow in check in the second half, repeatedly forcing the offense into manageable positions and creating opportunities to take the lead. Flacco performed admirably, moving the ball efficiently and keeping the team within striking distance. But each drive ended with frustration for fans in the stands and viewers at home, as Smythe's kicks failed to find the target. In a game where a single point determined the outcome, those missed opportunities became a symbol of everything that has gone wrong in Cleveland's special teams over the years, reigniting discussions about accountability, roster decisions, and the pressure placed on young players thrust into high-stakes situations. Smythe's journey to this point has been far from linear. After dominating early in his career at Syracuse, including his award-winning performance in 2018, he faced challenges that caused him to regress in later years, ultimately requiring a stint in the United Football League to prove himself to NFL teams. His path reflects a larger narrative about the unpredictability of the kicker position in professional football, where mental resilience, consistency, and timing are often as important as raw leg strength. Smythe has all the tools to succeed, but the NFL is a league where confidence is fragile, and a few high-profile misses can quickly overshadow years of preparation and potential. The pressure in Cleveland is intensified by the fact that the Browns have historically struggled to close out games in dramatic fashion, and fans have little patience for repeated errors that cost victories in moments that should be routine. The decision to retain SCMYT after Week 1, therefore, is both bold and risky. From a developmental perspective, it makes sense. Young kickers need time, game experience, and coaching to reach their potential. Yet from a results-driven perspective, it's a gamble that might not align with the Browns' immediate goals. Stefanski has signaled that SCMYT remains under the team's confidence umbrella, but the reality is stark. One more close loss, one more missed opportunity in a tight game, and the tide of opinion could shift dramatically. Cleveland fans are passionate, vocal, and unforgiving, and SCMYT's margin for error has already shrunk to the smallest possible sliver. The optics of sticking with a kicker who cost the team 4 points in a 1-point loss are not great, and the scrutiny will only intensify as the season progresses. In many ways, this situation encapsulates the broader challenges facing the Browns. Talent is abundant in certain areas, coaching is respected, and the organization has made strides in building a competitive roster. Yet execution in critical moments, particularly in the trenches of the AFC North, continues to define outcomes. Kicking, an often overlooked aspect of football, has repeatedly become the tipping point between victory and defeat, and SCMYT's Week 1 performance is a stark reminder of how fragile success can be. Every miss is amplified in Cleveland, where the memory of past heartbreaks lingers and expectations for redemption are high. Fans remember the close defeats, the playoff disappointments, and the narrow misses, and they are eager for any signs that the team will finally put together a complete, mistake-free performance. The narrative surrounding SCMYT is also emblematic of a deeper conversation in professional football about patience, development, and the balance between potential and performance. Young players are often given time to grow in certain positions, but few roles are as unforgiving as that of a kicker. Unlike other positions where mistakes can be mitigated by teammates, missed kicks are immediately visible and directly correlate with points on the board. Stefanski's public support, therefore, is a calculated move to protect SCMYT while also managing expectations. But in the cutthroat environment of the NFL, words alone won't shield a player indefinitely. Performance is the ultimate measure, and the Browns fan base will not hesitate to demand change if SCMYT falters again, especially in high-pressure, divisional matchups. As the 2025 season unfolds, all eyes will be on Andre SCMYT. His leg, his accuracy, and his mental toughness will be tested repeatedly, and the margin for error is slimmer than ever. The Week 1 loss to Cincinnati serves as both a warning and a motivator. The Browns have the talent to compete, but small errors can turn promising efforts into disappointing outcomes. SCMYT's journey is now intertwined with the fate of the team in close games, and each kick will carry weight far beyond its immediate impact. Fans, analysts, and coaches alike will watch intently, weighing every success and every failure, searching for signs that the young kicker can mature into the player Cleveland desperately needs him to be. For Cleveland, the story of SCMYT is just one chapter in the ongoing saga of a franchise striving for stability, consistency, and the elusive victories that have too often slipped through their fingers. The decision to stick with him reflects faith in potential, hope in growth, and recognition that development cannot be rushed. But it also highlights the tension inherent in professional sports, where patience must coexist with urgency, and where every performance is dissected, debated, and remembered. The Browns fan base, passionate and unyielding, will demand results, and SCMYT's Week 1 performance ensures that the spotlight will remain fixed on him as the season continues. In a league where games are decided by the smallest of margins, the pressure on a kicker is enormous, and for Cleveland, that pressure now rests squarely on the young leg of Andre SCMYT, whose next opportunities will define not just his season, but potentially the trajectory of the Browns themselves. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. The NFL world has been set ablaze this week after Myles Garrett, the relentless defensive powerhouse for the Cleveland Browns, dropped a comment that's causing tremors throughout the league and especially within the Browns locker room. Fans and insiders alike are buzzing, debating, and replaying the clip over and over, trying to parse the exact tone and intention behind Garrett's words. The defensive end, known for his ferocity on the field and his unfiltered demeanor off it, apparently had something to say about the team's rookie sensation, SHEDEUR Sanders, and the reaction has been nothing short of explosive. Rumors are now swirling that this offhand remark, or perhaps it was more deliberate than that, could signify deeper tensions simmering behind the scenes in Cleveland, tensions that may affect team dynamics in ways no one saw coming. Sources close to the Browns' locker room have described the moment as electric, with Garrett allegedly not holding back, calling out Sanders in a way that left teammates stunned. While the exact words have been partially obscured in the public eye, insiders suggest that the defensive star's comments weren't just casual criticism. According to those familiar with the situation, Garrett's tone suggested frustration not only with on-field performance, but also with the attention and hype surrounding Sanders since his arrival. For a team like the Browns, which has struggled to maintain consistency in recent seasons, the internal balance between veteran leadership and emerging talent is always delicate. If Garrett's remarks are a sign of cracks forming, fans might have to brace for more than just media chatter. They might be witnessing the early signs of locker room unrest. Of course, the timing of this so-called bombshell could not be more combustible. The Browns have been navigating a season of high expectations, with new talent like SHEDEUR Sanders being marketed as a future cornerstone for the franchise. The arrival of a quarterback with such pedigree, remember, he's the son of NFL legend Deion Sanders, naturally brings media scrutiny and fanfare. It also brings pressure. And apparently, according to the grapevine, Garrett feels that the spotlight on Sanders has sometimes overshadowed the hard work and sacrifices of the established players who have carried the team through rough stretches. Sources hint that Garrett's comments may have been as much about setting boundaries as they were about critique, a way of reminding everyone, including management and media, that veteran presence still commands respect in the locker room hierarchy. This isn't the first time Garrett has caused ripples with his candor. Known for his outspoken nature, he has a reputation for speaking his mind, whether during interviews or on social media. But what makes this incident different is the subject, a rising star with a high-profile background, whose transition into the league is being watched by fans and analysts alike. Sanders has been praised for his composure, his arm talent, and his understanding of the game, but Garrett's comments introduce a layer of tension that wasn't part of the public narrative until now. Analysts are speculating on whether this is a classic case of veteran player protectiveness, a clash of personalities, or perhaps even a strategy to push Sanders harder, forcing him to prove himself not just to the fans, but to teammates who have paid their dues over years of grind in the league. Inside sources hint that the reaction within the Browns locker room has been mixed. Some players reportedly understand Garrett's point, nodding along and acknowledging the intensity and standards he brings. Others, especially those who have taken a liking to Sanders' energy and charisma, might see the comments as unnecessary friction. The media has already picked up on the subtle but significant implications, dissecting body language from press conferences and interviews to gauge just how deep this potential conflict runs. Meanwhile, fans on social media are divided. Some laud Garrett for his forthrightness, interpreting his remarks as a call for accountability and respect for veteran leadership. Others view it as a disruptive influence, arguing that a team should nurture rising talent rather than publicly call them out in a manner that could escalate into division. Rumors are also flying about the front office's perspective. While no official statement has been made, insiders suggest that management is quietly monitoring the situation, aware that internal conflicts, if mishandled, can have consequences on the field. The Browns have invested heavily in their roster. Combining star power with strategic acquisitions and maintaining cohesion is paramount. Garrett's outspoken nature, while part of his brand and identity, now becomes a balancing act for the organization. How to allow a star player the freedom to speak honestly while ensuring that the team environment remains supportive, focused, and free from the kind of drama that can derail a season. The narrative isn't limited to just interpersonal friction either. Analysts are already connecting this incident to on-field implications. If tensions between a high-profile defensive leader and an emerging quarterback become public knowledge, opposing teams could exploit it, testing the Browns' unity in crucial moments. In a league where psychological edge and team chemistry are as important as physical talent, even small rifts can snowball into bigger problems. Speculation has intensified that Garrett's comments could spark a motivation versus disruption debate, with Sanders' camp perhaps feeling the need to respond, not necessarily verbally, but through performance and presence, while Garrett's camp emphasizes the importance of discipline, respect, and the veteran-led culture that has historically defined winning franchises. Fans are dissecting every snippet of video, every interview, and every social media post, looking for evidence of underlying tension or reconciliation. Commentators are asking whether this is simply tough love from a seasoned defensive star, or if it signals something more enduring, a potential power struggle within the locker room. Meanwhile, sports talk shows are running segments analyzing Garrett's tone, Sanders' demeanor, and the possible outcomes for the Browns' season trajectory. The buzz has become inescapable, from casual fans checking Twitter during lunch breaks to diehard supporters dissecting practice footage. The conversation dominates the narrative around Cleveland's team, painting a picture of a locker room at a crossroads. Interestingly, some insiders suggest that this moment, while dramatic, could ultimately be beneficial. Tension, when managed properly, can be a catalyst for growth. Garrett's candid remarks may force Sanders to step up, refine his approach, and embrace the scrutiny as part of his professional evolution. Simultaneously, it could inspire the veterans to reflect on leadership, mentorship, and the balance between maintaining authority and supporting new talent. In sports, history is full of examples where initial friction led to eventual synergy, and some analysts are optimistic that the Browns could navigate this storm successfully, emerging stronger, more cohesive, and battle-tested for the challenges ahead. What's certain is that the Browns' locker room has become the epicenter of NFL intrigue. Myles Garrett's unexpected commentary on SHEDEUR Sanders has transcended the usual preseason chatter or midseason whispers, transforming into a story that captivates not just fans of Cleveland, but followers across the league. The interplay between veteran grit and rookie promise, seasoned criticism and youthful potential, has all the hallmarks of a narrative that could define a season. And in the world of the NFL, where every statement, gesture, and look can become headline news, Garrett's remarks are the kind of spark that ignites months of speculation, debate, and drama. As the season progresses, all eyes will remain on Cleveland, on Garrett, on Sanders, and on how this chapter of tension, rumor, and high-stakes athletic drama unfolds. Will it lead to conflict, or will it forge an even stronger team identity? Only time will tell, but for now, the NFL community watches, ruminates, and waits for the next twist in what promises to be one of the most talked-about storylines of the season. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!